So this is goodbye?
No, this isn't goodbye. I'm gonna come by tomorrow and visit everybody. I'm not ready for this to be the real goodbye.
So this is something I've wanted to talk about for a while now, and that's the ending of Gilmore Girls. I'm talking about season 7, the original ending. I know at the time a lot of people weren't satisfied with how the show ended. I wasn't satisfied with it either when I first watched it. It felt rushed and really sudden, and I think part of that is because a lot of us didn't fully realize we were watching the end until it was already happening. So when a show ends that abruptly, especially a show like Gilmore Girls, I'm not sure there was ever gonna be an ending that felt completely satisfying. Because Gilmore Girls isn't really the kind of show you only watch for the plot. Obviously the storylines matter, but I think a lot of us are just as attached to the feeling of the show as we are to anything that actually happens in it. That's what makes comfort shows so hard to end. The ending is always gonna feel like you're being kicked out of a place you wanted to stay in longer. But now that I think about it, I actually feel like Gilmore Girls already had the perfect ending by season 7, in most respects. At least with what they had to work with. And I think I needed the revival to realize that. Welcome to another episode of Pexposure. I'm Pecky, and I love to psychoanalyze myself through the characters I watch in film and TV. So if you find yourself relating a little too deeply to fictional people, this channel might be for you. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my episodes. Now, I'm not saying season 7 is perfect. It's far from it. There are storylines that could have been wrapped up much better, and the pacing of the whole season could have been improved. But remember, the Palladinos had left in that season, and we were left with characters that feel a little off. Emily especially feels a little different to me in season 7, like very different. There are also some side characters who deserved a lot more. I'm not talking about Lane or Paris because I'm going to talk about them in a little bit, but I think maybe I just wanted a little bit more for Michelle and Suki. But the final stretch of season 7 slowly starts putting everyone into their ending position. You can feel the show moving toward goodbye.
This is all your fault, you know?
Why?
Because you told me I could do anything.
You can.
Apparently I can't, and I have 2 rejection letters and a humiliating phone call to prove it.
Rory is finally in a place where the effort doesn't automatically equal reward, and I actually like that for her. For most of the show, Rory's identity is built around being the girl who succeeds. She gets into Chilton, becomes a valedictorian, gets into every Ivy League school she applies to, and is constantly treated like someone who's destined for something impressive. So when she doesn't get the New York Times fellowship, it feels like a necessary reality check. This is the kind of thing that makes her feel more real to me. She worked hard, she wanted it badly, and she still didn't get it. That's such a realistic post-grad feeling. You can follow the path exactly the way you were told to and still end up staring at a future that's way less certain than you expected. She ends the show completely pushed out of her comfort zone.
It could be quite grueling, Rory. All that constant travel, the seedy motels.
She can handle it.
I hope so. I said yes.
She gets thrown out into the world and she's brave enough to go. I also love that the job she got is covering Obama's campaign. Before the revival came out, I always kind of connected Obama making it into presidency with Rory's success too. Maybe that was just my own little headcanon, but I always imagined that if he succeeded, she succeeded in some way too.
I'm sorry. I can't. I love the idea of being married to you, but there are just a lot of things right now in my life that are undecided, and that used to scare me, but now I kind of like the idea that it's just all kind of wide open.
I know people have a lot of different feelings about Rory saying no to Logan's proposal. I actually loved Rory and Logan together, especially by season 7. They felt more stable, they'd gone through some more conflict, and they were talking about each other as part of their future. So Rory saying no is sad to me, but I also think it's the right choice. The way I see it is that when Logan proposes, Rory is basically being offered comfort. Not just romantic comfort, but life comfort. Logan is kind of a unicorn for Rory when you think about it. He's super rich, high status, charming, connected, and even though his dad is a jerk, Mitchum does kind of come around to Rory by season 7.
To being on the same page?
To being on the same page.
Realistically, that family probably could have opened doors for her if she wanted that life. And throughout Rory's evolution, we do see her dabble in that world. She gets closer to wealth, status, connections. She has this chance to choose a life where the next step is already laid out for her, a more secure path. And instead, she chooses her own struggle. She chooses the unknown and to go out into the world and see what she can do on her own. That feels really important for Rory. And yes, Rory still comes from privilege in a lot of ways. She has her grandparents and a safety net that a lot of people don't have. She's choosing not to make her life smaller just because the safer option is right in front of her. She chooses her career, movement, and uncertainty. And I think that's exactly where Rory should be at 22. I do still wish that Rory and Logan stayed together though. Not in the way that they did in the revival.
You've always been this possibility for me, but it's just not right.
With Lorelai, season 7 is a lot more painful. Watching her rebound with Christopher and actually marry him is rough. I still don't love that storyline. I think that's the lowest rated episode of Gilmore Girls on IMDb, which is so funny to me, like we all hated Christopher. But I do think there's something interesting about seeing Lorelai finally get the version of Christopher she thought she wanted, because Christopher does become the guy she'd been waiting for him to become, and it still doesn't feel right. That gives Lorelai and Luke more closure in a weird way because it removes the what if of Christopher. It was always gonna be Luke. The final episodes bring Luke and Lorelai back together in a way that feels honest to who they've always been. Luke isn't always great at saying the exact right thing, but he shows love through action, and the finale reminds us of that so clearly. With Lorelai and her parents, I also think the ending gives us just enough. I'm not saying that their relationship is magically fixed, but we do see that there's been growth.
It takes a remarkable person to inspire all of this.
Thanks, Dad.
That scene. Richard and Emily spent so much of the show not fully understanding or respecting the life Lorelai built after leaving their world. To them, Lorelai leaving was this rejection and embarrassing family rupture. And yes, there's pain there, but sometimes they also missed how impressive it was that Lorelai left and actually built something meaningful. That felt like closure to me. And I'm sure Emily agreed with him too. I just think Emily isn't really capable of sharing vulnerable feelings in that way. But I do think she sees it. We see that in the way she tries to keep Friday night dinners going. That's probably the most realistic ending Emily and Lorelai could have gotten, even though I do wish there was a little bit more there. But I guess we can also take the road trip episode as its own full circle moment for them. Emily sees how much life happened without her, and Lorelai sees how painful that must have been for Emily. So by the time we get to the finale, Emily trying to keep the Friday night dinners going feels like the continuation of that.
So our Friday night dinners are going to continue then?
Well, we might as well. Kind of gotten used to it.
The one storyline from the revival, though, that I actually was grateful for was Emily's storyline. Seeing Emily deconstruct her life after Richard's passing and become her own person was really powerful. So much of what Emily did was tied up in Richard, in being his wife, in maintaining their social status, and in upholding this very specific version of their life. So without him, it was really interesting to see her figure out who she actually was outside of that. I'm actually working on a video about how Richard didn't really respect Emily, and I'll go into more detail there.
Might as well open Harvard. We are pleased to...
Seeing Paris get into Harvard Medical School was such a satisfying full circle moment. It was so painful to see her get rejected from Harvard for undergrad.
Bite me, Harvard, bite me! Yeah, choke!
She still got there, just not in the way she originally planned. It's also a nice parallel to Rory if you think about it. Paris gets a thing she once thought she lost forever, while Rory doesn't get the thing she thought she was supposed to get, which was that New York Times thing. Fellowship. The New York Times Fellowship thing. They're both pushed into the next version of their lives, just in different ways.
Your friendship means so much to me. It's so...
Me too.
I've already made a whole video about Lane's ending, so I don't want to completely repeat myself here, but I do wish she'd gotten more space before becoming a wife and a mom. That's the part of her ending that feels frustrating to me. The show moves her so quickly from rebellion into responsibility that you barely get to see her exist in that in-between stage. But I also think Lane's version of happiness was always more personal than the audience sometimes makes it. It wasn't only about fame or escaping Stars Hollow completely. It was also about having a life that felt honest to who she was, where music wasn't a secret, where she had love, and where her relationship with Mrs. Kim could change without disappearing completely. That's why her season 7 ending feels bittersweet to me. The first time I watched a surprise graduation party scene, like when Lorelai and Rory first arrive, I blubbered like a freaking baby.
I think you're gonna get to say goodbye to everybody.
Just the pan to everyone, it feels like at the end of a play or a show when they take the final bow. You know what I mean? This whole community treated Rory like one of their own. That's the emotional center of the finale. The ending doesn't need to show every detail of what happens next because it gives us the emotional truth of where everyone is. That's why the final scene at Luke's diner is so perfect to me. It's not dramatic or over-explained, it's just Lorelai and Rory sitting at Luke's drinking coffee, and you just see the camera pan out the same way it did in the very first episode of the show. By the finale, Rory has graduated from Yale, which is not Harvard, but it's still an Ivy League. Lorelai has built a life that she's really proud of, and her parents and Lorelai have found a way to stay connected. Luke and Lorelai have found their way back to each other, and Rory is about to step into the world on her own. Looking back, that's why the original ending feels more satisfying to me than the revival. The revival gave us the final 4 words, which were, if you're a Gilmore Girls fan, you know what those final 4 words are, and I wish that we never heard those final 4 words. But the original finale gave us the feeling of goodbye.
Mom, you've given me everything I need.
Okay.
So when I say Gilmore Girls already had the perfect ending, I'm not saying season 7 was perfect, or that every storyline was handled perfectly, or that every character got exactly what they deserved. I'm saying that the ending understood the emotional heart of the show. A show about family, growing up, letting go, and the painful but beautiful moment when the person you love most is ready to leave, or when you're finally ready to move on from the place that raised you. Rory left Stars Hollow, and for the first time, we had to leave with her. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I know Gilmore Girls is leaving Netflix, at least in the US, and I was so shocked when I heard that because I really thought Netflix just had Gilmore Girls forever. I know it's like available on Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever, but I don't know, I was just like really attached to having it on there. And apparently they're taking off their revival too. I think they're taking the revival off in like November. It's crazy, right? Anyway, even though Gilmore Girls is leaving Netflix, I'll still be here, so let's stay connected. I have my link tree below, so if you want to be friends on Instagram or connect anywhere else, you can find all of that there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video soon. Bye!